When change of government, or if you like, transition happened in Rivers State on the 29th of May 2023, many persons have thought it was nothing less than a seamless handover of power. As a matter of fact, they had thought since, of course, it was Oga to boy, so to speak, kind of transition, and then, of course, the same party. It was just going to be a state moving from one level of development to another without all the rancor that we seem to see in many other states between predecessor and successor. But that was just going to be a matter of months for the good people of Rivers State and indeed Nigerians to realize that they had something else coming. As it stands today, it will be, putting it mildly, to say the relationship between the incumbent governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara, and his, well, what some people have called his estranged political godfather, Nyesom Wike, who is now Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, is frosty, will be just, well, appropriate. As of today, it is clear that Rivers State has been adversely affected by way of the, on account of the relationship between Wike and Mr. Fubara. People are now saying that as it stands right now, there's a pretty good chance that the governor is not able to focus enough to provide leadership to do the work that he was elected to do by way of governance in the first instance. We have seen the president personally invite both gentlemen in an effort to broker peace. Some people say it was just going to be at best, even that effort at that level, no better than some graveyard peace. And today, it appears that it is even worse than graveyard peace, because we're seeing loyalists to Wike and Fubara fight dirty, whether it's at the State House of Assembly level or even at the local government level. Elections have been scheduled to happen in the states at the grassroots level. And there is the fear that it's going to be fight of gladiators, some proxy war between Wike and Fubara. This model has been here for a while, but it is obvious that this particular instant case is just a notch higher than what we have seen in our contemporary politics. Chuks, let's spend some time talking about Rivers politics this morning before we let you off. It will appear, some people say, the impact of having strong men without strong institutions is what is playing out in this Rivers instance.
Yes, you captured it very well, and it's just unfortunate that former governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, who, as God will have it, is today Minister of the FCT, has taken it upon himself to make Rivers State stick out like a sore thumb. And I've also wondered why Rivers will always be like that. Amechi's time wasn't any less turbulent. And today, Wike has taken it a notch higher. One would have expected Wike to focus on his present job. It's distressing to note that he's in the FCT and also wants to control what happens in Rivers State. For me, there's a time to come and a time to go. We had an Audley, under whose wings both Wike and Amechi grew. And Audley left office, and without turning Rivers State into a laughing stock. Because today, Rivers State has become the butt of a joke. Amechi came with his own drama, left office, became minister. And today, Wike handed over to Fubara. And some of us are wondering what else that he wants. Wike is not, I have not seen anything phenomenal about Wike. I've actually not seen anything special about Wike. But how he imagines that his successor in office would be willing to feed his hubris is what I don't understand. he was once governor, today he's an ex-governor. One would expect that he respects that a natural law that says there is a time to come and a time to go. It's just like Fubara that is there today. Someday he will leave that office. But you know, we're in a traumatized society that we seem to have substantially lost our sanity. That's why we are becoming less discerning by the day. Otherwise, the entirety of the Rivers populace, or a vast majority of the Rivers population, ought to have risen against Wike for destabilizing the state, because that is what he's doing at the moment. Yes, he's a leader in his own right, but now he has a job. And I'm also worried that his employers are not worried.
That his employers, you mean the president at the APC?
Yes, yes. I'm also worried that they are not disturbed by the level of distraction that Wike has brought upon himself, which, whether we like it or not.
Isn't that a blessing in disguise, politically speaking, for the APC going forward?
Well, it depends on whether the government of the day would want to elevate politics over and above governance. If their preoccupation is governance, then Wike is not helping them at all. If the government of the day, the APC, the ruling party, and the president, if they're interested in winning Rivers State, if they're interested in winning 2027 general election, the right thing should be for them to call Wike to order and ensure that Wike performs optimally in his present office, so that they can cite it as an example of what they are capable of doing if they are re-elected and all of that. I do not see how that will give them any advantage in Rivers State, any political advantage ahead of 2027 general election. APC is becoming less and less popular in Rivers State on account of all of this whole thing, because it does look like it has given a tacit endorsement to Wike to destabilize his own state. Why would he do that? He has a job. If he was jobless, it would have been a different thing. But this man has a job, and he's not doing his job. He's doing it not to the best of his abilities, because he has put distraction upon himself, and of course that will significantly affect his performance in office.
There are people who say, okay, Wike himself, by the way, keeps saying that there's an agreement which he alleges that Mr. Fubara has reneged on. How much of sense do you make of that?
I don't know what you're saying by agreement. You know, when Wike speaks, at times some of us begin to wonder whether he's truly our colleagues as lawyers. If you have an illegal agreement, it's null and void. Any agreement that is illegal becomes null and void in the eye of the law, because it becomes unenforceable. You can't enforce what is illegal. What is the agreement he's talking about? If he fooled himself that his predecessor, his successor in office, was going to be a gentleman to the point of trading away the collective interest of Rivers people just to feed his hubris, then he must go and think again.
So as of today, we keep looking at APC. You just also made an allusion to the APC giving, to use your exact words, tacit endorsement to whatever it is Wike is doing, whether by way of action or inaction. But those who watch the political space very closely say that PDP, in a manner of speaking, has become like a broken house. That has also impacted Mr. Fubara's ability to put up a fight in this regard.
Mr. Fubara, well, let me start by saying that Wike, as FCT minister, is being irresponsible as a minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And he's abdicating his responsibility as FCT minister to be meddling in the affairs of Rivers State government.
But he's a chieftain of the party.
A chieftain of the party. I'm saying I don't have a problem with that, but I'm saying because he has an office that he occupies at the moment. He is serving the people. His office, we are the ones paying his salary as FCT minister. And he owes us a responsibility to give it his very best shot. He took an oath of office to ensure that at all times he protects the interests of FCT people. He's not doing it as we speak. What he is doing in Rivers State, his meddlesomeness in Rivers State is taking a toll on his job. And by extension, residents of FCT. And we're saying that the government is, the federal government who hired him hasn't been playing its supervisory role very well. If he's been playing his supervisory role very well, he ought to have been called. He ought to have been called to order before now, so that he can focus on what he's doing. He has to perform optimally. He's performing suboptimally as we speak on account of the River State distraction that he put on his head. He can do without that.
When the president called both of them several months ago to intervene in this dispute that they have, which has now snowballed into a crisis statewide, what were your expectations vis-a-vis what has become the outcome today?
Well, Mr. President played a fatherly role and thought his words, his counsel would be respected by both parties. I imagine that he was taken aback by events that unfolded afterwards. Because otherwise, Mr. President already has a whole lot on his plate. He doesn't need extra distraction. He needs all the time in the world to focus on the enormous task of governing this country. Wike shouldn't be adding to it. Or does he want to turn Rivers State into another theater of war, so that our service chiefs will be asked to relocate to that place? I don't think it's in the interest of this government, the people that hired him. That's what I'm saying. I'm calling on the government to do something very drastic about this, so that the man can focus on his job. And the people that hired him, we hired them. We hired this the present government. They also owe us a responsibility to make sure that our resources are judiciously utilized. And all the people, all the hands they bring on board perform optimally. Because the whole essence of bringing people to assist the president in carrying out his policies and all of those was for them to do their very best in the interest of the nation. But with Wike's shenanigans, I'm saying that it's taking a toll on governance.
As it stands today, there are people who are saying that Governor Fubara needs to do more as a governor of a state legitimately elected by the people of that state. In fact, they say he's not making the most of his executive latitude. What are your expectations in this direction?
Well, the young man appears to be leading River State with a measure of restraint and caution, which I commend. He's not even acting his age, because others would have given it back to Wike the way Wike is giving it to him. But I commend him for the restraint. I commend him for his cautious way of handling issues. But I would also urge him to do a lot more in the area of governance, so that he would use his performance in office to naturally diminish and eventually neutralize Wike and his influence in Rivers State.
The APC we talked about a while ago, the employer, so to speak, of Mr. Nyesom Wike, have taken blame too. Even the president himself for not, as they say, calling him to order, trying to beat him to the line somehow. But how about the PDP, the party that Wike belongs to, the party that Wike says he's still a member of today, even though he's serving in the government of the APC? Just a few days ago, last week there was, former Senator from Kogi State, Dina Melaye, said that the PDP is dead, and he attributed that death, so to speak, to Wike and a few other elements in the party, including the interim chairman of the PDP. What does that say about the kind of opposition politics that we play in this country?
Well, the PDP is embattled on all fronts, and no thanks to Wike, same Wike. And but I'm also consoled by the fact that the APC are also watching. I don't think that APC leaders are blind. I believe they are also watching closely and also taking note of the destructive capabilities of their employee. And I look forward to seeing a payday for Wike. I look forward to seeing a payday for Wike because you cannot undermine your own party. You cannot willfully ruin your own party. And for personal gain. It's not for the interests. It's not for the interest of the society. It's just for personal gain. You undermine your party. You ruin your party. You leave your party vulnerable. And then what the other leg is with the ruling party, and you think you're going to reap. You're going to reap where you keep reaping good fruits. You keep reaping good fruits. I don't think that nature rewards malevolent people that way, because Wike has actually dealt with PDP unjustly. Because whatever Wike is today, from the very beginning, it was PDP. PDP made him local government chairman. PDP made him chief of staff to the governor. PDP made him Minister of State for Education.
Right.
PDP made him substantive Minister of Education. PDP made him governor, 2 times governor. The same party that took you through this trajectory is the one that you're rewarding like this. Well, all of us, we pray for life and good health so that we see how all of these things peter out eventually.
Those who are very conversant with Rivers State politics say that all of these crises that you saw in Rivers, some of them were just aimed at ensuring that Governor Fubara gets impeached one way or another. And as it stands today, it appears that didn't work, or at least hasn't happened just yet. So their own speculation is that Wike is going to wait, so to speak, for Fubara at the gates of 2027 election in the state because he has to take his pound of flesh. Walk us through these dynamics.
What will happen tomorrow is in the bowel of time. There is no guarantee that my humble self will be alive in 2027. And I also guess that's applicable to every other human being under the sun. As for Wike having his pound of flesh in 2027, nobody knows what holds for Wike between now and 2026. In any event, Fubara has got his destiny in his own hands. He has all the time in the world to either write an epitaph on his tenure or perform extraordinarily well that will guarantee him a second term of office. So it's left for Fubara. 2027 Rivers State has to do more with Fubara than a Wike.
Sounds interesting already. On the final note now, we have seen this sort of phenomenon play out again. I mean, predecessor and successor. We've seen in Edo State, for example, between Obaseki and Oshomole. We have seen in a place like Ogun, between the current governor, Dapo Abiodun, and his predecessor, Ibikole Amosu. We have seen this happen across different states end to end. Some people say the major factor driving this phenomenon is the money-bagged politics for which Nigeria has come to gain so much of, sadly so, reputation. How do we curtail this?
It's a difficult question. A difficult question because the people on whose laps this drops are the electorate. But it's unfortunate that the electorate are so poor that they cannot freely exercise their franchise. Otherwise, and ideally too, it is the people who should rise and take ownership of their destiny by casting their votes in favor of who they want. Because if the people rise and cast their votes in favor of who they want, this phenomenon called godfatherism would die a natural death. But we find ourselves in a situation whereby it takes a sitting governor to use money, fund your campaign, use money, and influence your election. So when he influences your election, for some reason, he sees himself as the God, small little God, that put you in office and not the people. So we need to work on the purchasing power of the average voter. They are too vulnerable to actually make a choice and defend that choice of theirs. That's why they talk about poverty being weaponized. So the moment we overcome that, then the people will be in a position to determine what happens to them and their society. But as we speak, for as long as our GDP remains what it is, for as long as our economy is on a nosedive, for as long as people find it difficult to feed, I can assure you that come another election cycle, they will still be as vulnerable as they had always been in the past.
Chuks Kamadu, lawyer, public affairs commentator, and political analyst, who would like to say a big thank you to you for coming on the program today.
Thank you for the honor.
That's all we have for this discussion, everyone. After the break, we're back shortly. We understand a few more papers are coming through. We'll look at some big headlines for you, just to add some ice into the cake this morning. Do stay with us.
I've seen watch your network, Global Television, and I think it's a refreshing addition to some of the networks that we already have, to have competitive media and looking at news from different angles. The place to go is to watch Global Television, because it gives you a different perspective, whether it is local news or foreign news, and even you're connecting with local communities in villages that I have seen. So we urge Nigerians that, this is to broaden the space, the source of information, of entertainment, and of enlightenment. And Global TV is the place to watch.
Now tukunya, sannin ki amarya, ya ce yar manya, da waya a yi zariya, an saba musaya, kallon soyayya, sai kin yi amarya, ga share gida ma, kin yi shi amarya, sai kin yi abinci, kin ba shi amarya. Seminai, 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 yau
All right, time to take a look at just the remnant of the papers for you this morning. Juma and I will do that, spending the next couple of minutes. The Daily Independent is what it is. All right, let's see the big story here. Nigerian Airlines banned from flying to U.S. Experts offer solution. 3 riders. FAA deletes Nigeria from category of status countries. Hope of air peace, other aspiring indigenous carriers dashed. Cabo Verde, Rwanda, 5 other African countries retain status. So what is wrong with our own? Well, you can find out when you read those details for yourself from today's edition of the Daily Independent. Okay. Above the name masts, banks kick may lose 10 trillion naira to CBN directive on dormant accounts. Analysts say a move will end incessant fraudulent activities. Volatility profits taking drag NGX performance down 1.22% in August. Then left end of the Daily Independent, Serap sues Akpabio Abbas for fixing NAS alliances, running costs. FG banning under 18 from writing WAEC NECO can't stand. That's SANU, Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities. Metawale CDS service chiefs to storm Sokoto to flush out bandits in Northwest. And then petrol price may increase as NNPC admits facing financial strain due to supply cost. We hear it basically stands at about $6 billion right now. But there's just one more headline left here at the foot of the Daily Independent. Tinubu arrives Beijing for African Cooperation Summit. You can read up those details for yourself on page 6 of today's Daily Independent. Okay, let's make it sunny with Jumai, who will bring us the Daily Sun quickly.
All right, the Daily Sun. Beside the nameplate of the Daily Sun, we have Akpabio Abbas sued over 21 million naira jumbo pay. And the rider there says 10 trillion naira CBN spending on luxury cars. And that's... you should go out and get the Daily Sun. And then the Star Story says, agony, anger swell over an ending fuel scarcity. And the rider there says, situation bites harder as motorist commuters laments. Ex-beauty queen wanted for drug trafficking surrenders to NDLEA. Nigerian lacks industrial memory. Enugu set to constituent 300 bed international hospital. And Nigerian DNA testing, 1 in 4 paternity test negative. And the writer there says, testifying report shows high note of paternity scam on, irrigation test surge. And it says 6 died, 7 injured in Osun, Ogun road accidents. Of course, that's all we have on the Daily Sun. So next,
this paternity testing is very disturbing. Quite frankly, I remember
a lot of homes.
Yeah, 2020 when issues started coming
It's
up,
so sad.
a former MD of a bank got in the news for the wrong reasons and all of that. Then there was this report that Nigeria was the 3rd highest in the world when it comes to paternity fraud. And that has become very worrisome. At that point, you saw a lot of men were not having the conversation and saying, look, I have to go do this test. I think, yes, do all the tests you want. It's great. But you see, it just goes to show how much that when former President Goodluck Jonathan said that, corruption is not all about stealing and theft of, material resources.
True.
He may not have seen it, but I'm sure, looking back a couple of years down the line now, that this is also part of it, where you're just training a child that's not yours the entire time and you don't even have the slightest idea. For most men, I'm not sure it's so much about the fact that you're spending your hard-earned resources doing that. It's about the bond they've built with that child over time. So how do you tell a man whose child, quote and unquote, has turned 19, 21, 30, 35, that, oh God, don't be offended, this child isn't yours?
For me, it's a very sad. The paternity issue is really, really sad, especially when you have a beautiful home, everything is going on smooth sail. The guy knows you as his dad, the child knows you as his dad, his mom.
Or her dad.
Then this interruption just comes in. It's really, really sad. I just feel, it's my own opinion, Jumai Manson. I am just saying, let sleepy dogs lie. Just allow this. Let's not talk about it. Let's move past this and allow that beautiful. I know someone like you, the way you're staring at me right now.
No, I'm listening. You know, I know how to pay attention a lot.
You do, but I'm sure you say, what the heck are you talking about, Juba? Are you kidding me? Someone else's child, raising someone else's child. But the thing is, this has broken a lot of beautiful homes, really. Because in Nigeria, I spoke to a friend of mine and says, Juba, the truth is, many of us in Nigeria, we do not marry the people that we really, really love. We're married to other people, we're married to other individuals. And then when that slight opportunity comes for you to meet this, that's why never be left alone with the person that you fell in love with.
So you sleep. When the opportunity comes,
some people, yes, who do not have that self-control can sneak, and then this sort of thing can happen, and then you just don't want to talk about it, and you don't want it, and it's,
because of the embarrassment and the shame that come with it.
Exactly. So you just pin it on, which is bad.
Let it slide.
Exactly, but at the same time, it's really, really sad. And some they do it. These issues come up because the men are impotent and cannot do anything. So just to cover up that whole facade, the home front and all of that, so people do that. So
Women will always find a spin on it for.
don't say
blaming
women.
men.
It's just the
So
truth
to
I
blame
have
the
said.
men.
Don't say women will always find a spin on it.
So
I'm
can
only
they
telling
both
you,
not have the conversation and be on same page? Does one party need to run
sometimes the woman just wants to help the man. She just wants
without
to
the man's knowledge?
No,
or
just doesn't want him to feel bad that maybe there's something wrong with him or something.
even when there's literally something wrong with him?
Exactly. So she's
All right,
kind
like you
enough.
said, let's allow sleeping dogs lie, right?
Exactly, exactly. So you've been taking us through the next paper quickly now because of our time.
All right, let's do just a couple of minutes here. It says that's the Leadership
Yes.
newspaper. Above it, just above the nameplate of the Leadership, it says Danyaya emerges 17th ML of Ningi. Yes, this last weekend, the governor of Bauchi State actually made that happen. Okay, recapitalization. 5 banks expend 23 billion naira to raise 1 trillion naira. Southern elders disagree over new constitution. The 2 riders say Afenifere Ohaneze Middle Belt wants new constitution. ACF Pandef seek amendments, power sharing. And then on the right corner of the front page of the Leadership, it says, petrol import costs, NNPC admins financial strain. What else? Buratai calls for unity as command old students reunite. FG investigates hunger in prisons. Atiku demands listing of NNPCL on stock exchange. I'm sure that's all time will allow us to take.
Exactly.
On the papers
Yes,
this morning
at this
and
point,
on the show.
we have to wrap it up on,
Right.
on the paper review, and we have to wrap it up on the program Global Morning. It has been exciting. With,
It has been
Mr. Chuksa Kavadu.
It's an eventful Monday.
Eventful Monday. And with that,
Right.
this is where we draw the curtains on the program Global Morning. Hope you had an amazing time with us and hope you were well informed with our guests. And of course, we handled that very brilliantly. Kudos to you, Uyi.
I need to get a drink for myself after
You need
this.
to. All right, now, thank you all so much for being a part of Global Morning with us. And I am Jumai Manson. Have a fulfilling, stress-free day ahead. And my amazing co-host.
We'll see you again.
Bye-bye.